So far, pivot tables are created from a single data source, usually an Excel table. With Power Pivot and the data model, I can create pivot tables based on information contained in multiple tables drawn from a variety of data sources. Note that for a pivot table to use multiple tables, the tables must be added to the data model and have table relationships defined based on common fields. Now I create a pivot table that shows the breakdown of product categories sold from the many stores over the past 1 year. To create this pivot table, I will use the data model as the data source. First, active this cell. Click Insert tab. In Tables group, click Pivot Table button. Make sure Use this workbook data model is checked and existing worksheet is also checked. Click OK. The four tables from the data model are listed in the Pivot Table Fields pane. The Pivot Table Fields pane lists all of tables in the data model in the Fields section. To view the fields within each table, click the table name. To add a field to the pivot table, I drag the field name from any of the tables to the filters, columns, values, and rows. Because I establish table relationships, fields from one table will be automatically matched to corresponding records in another table. I want to create a pivot table to show the sum of the quantity of products sold at each store. To do this, I will add the following to the pivot table. The item quantity field from the products purchased table, the store state field from the store's detail table, and the item type field from the products detail table. Click Products Purchase table. Drag Item Quantity field in the Values area. The pivot table displays the sum of item quantity 216, showing that 216 items were sold during the 1 year period. Pivot Table Tools Analyze tab. Active Field Group. Click Field Settings. In the Custom Name box, type Number of Quantities Sold. Click OK. In the Pivot Table Fields pane, click Stores Detail Table. Drag the Store State field in the Columns box. The pivot table shows the quantity sold value for each store. The California store sold 6 items. New York store sold 7 items. Alaska stores sold 99 items, and others. In the pivot table fields pane, click Products Table arrow button. Drag the item type field in the rows box. The pivot table shows quantity sold value for each store broken out by product category. Now I can easily analyze store sales data. 7 Acer laptops are sold by New York store. 42 Acer laptops are sold by Alaska store. 6 HP laptops are sold by California store. Similarly in other stores. Data model is the source of this pivot table. For multiple data sources, the data model is used. The data model is used in the Power Pivot. First, data is added in the data model. Then that data is automatically retrieved in the Power Pivot. Then in the Power Pivot, the relationships are defined between the multiple data sources. Then that data is analyzed in the pivot table. I have analyzed the number of products sold by each store.